Quaid Azam Pot 220. I beg your pardon, please. Quaid Azam Pot 320. What followed thereafter was sadly like a comic opera. India's independence was being reduced to partial casualness, even while Ismay and Abel were in London. VP Menon, the Reforms Commissioner and the advisor to the Viceroy, recapitulated a talk he had had with Patel in the Viceregal Lodge in Shimla about the unworkability of the cabinet mission plan. I told Patel that he had better face the fact that Jinnah had support of the influential British opinion in his claim for Pakistan, and more importantly, he was supported by most of the high officers of the army in India. He assured me, Menon later told the Viceroy, that if power could be transferred at once on the basis of the Dominion status, he would use his influence to see that Congress accepted it. Menon, in Patel's presence, had then dictated an outline of the plan and sent it by special messenger to the Secretary of State for India, omitting only that Patel had seen and approved it. Patel never heard anything further about this afterwards. But Mountbatten was ecstatic after hearing of the episode from Menon. On 10 May 1947, while Nehru was at Shimla, Mountbatten had an occasion of discussing the partition plan of VP Menon with him. The Viceroy underlined the simplicity and the importance of it by pointing out that such straightforward arrangements that would be no need to wait until June 1948 to hand over power. It could be passed on the moment the cabinet in Britain agreed to the scheme. It is not clear as to whether Nehru actually agreed or only seemed to agree. The next logical step would then have been a formal adoption of this as the accepted formula for transferring power. However, that could not be, for there already was another plan in existence, which was then already in London, taken there by Ismay for the approval of the British cabinet. It was upon this that the Viceroy was resting his hopes for a settlement of the deadlock and the final handing over of the power. Why then did Mountbatten allow this rather ad hoc Menon plan as an additionality to be put out on a semi official basis for a formal discussion, and also to be recorded as in the viceregal minutes with Nehru? This was immature, clearly asking for trouble, and that is exactly what followed. Mountbatten's own plan, and one which Ismay had carried, had also been cabled back from London on 10 May 1947, containing some minor amendments suggested by the Cabinet without leaving any of the principles altered. That same evening, at an after dinner session, Mountbatten, on an impulse, shared this cable with Nehru, who, upon going through the papers, was aghast and would simply not accept this half approved plan. Things thereafter moved at a rather dramatic speed between Shimla and London. One of the cables sent by Mountbatten to Attlee said, in effect, the draft plan which you have approved is hereby cancelled. Please stand by for the revised plan. By 6 p.m. on 11 May 1947, Menon had finished the last sentence of his draft plan and was subsequently informed the same evening that Nehru had accepted. It had taken Menon exactly 4 hours to draw up the plan changing the face of India, also that of the world. It is deeply troubling to even acknowledge these questions that surface is that all it took to break the ancient unities of India. On 18 May 1947, Mountbatten and Menon left for London. Ismay and Abel, already there, fought long and hard against This Menon plan they still preferred their own, but Attlee and his cabinet accepted the Menon plan.